The Pentagon says U.S. forces carried out more than a dozen airstrikes near the town of Kobani in the last 2 days. I'm Olga Villaverde, and this story tops your Newsmax Now update.
Initial reports that we're getting from Central Command indicate that those strikes successfully hit 19 ISIL buildings, 2 command posts, 3 fighting positions, 3 sniper positions, 1 staging location, and 1 heavy machine gun. Very precise targeting.
Also, a monitoring group says the ISIS advance has in fact stalled in the city of Kobani. Kurdish fighters along the Turkish border say they've been able to retake some ground. Back in Washington, the director of the CDC says his agency is working around the clock to contain the Ebola outbreak.
We're there to support, we're there with world-class expertise, and we're there to respond to threats so that we can help protect Americans, and we're always open to new ideas.
Dr. Frieden testified before a congressional subcommittee about the CDC's ability to combat and contain Ebola. And President Obama issues a new executive order authorizing the Department of Defense to call up reserves and members of the National Guard to join Operation United Assistance to combat Ebola in Liberia. Meanwhile, a school district in Central Texas is temporarily closing 3 of its schools. This after 2 students from the area traveled on the same flight as Dallas nurse Amber Vinson. The Belton School District announced earlier today that the schools and some buses are being disinfected. In other news, John Pistole, the head of the TSA, says he will retire at the end of this year. The agency says its chief is leaving to take a position in academia. Pistole was nominated as the head of the TSA agency by President Obama back in 2010. Before that, he spent 26 years with the FBI. In Boston, former Massachusetts Governor Michael Dukakis was in a courtroom today to serve as a defense witness for the friend of the Boston Marathon bombing suspect.
I think you've got a responsibility to testify if you can add anything to the trial, and was more than happy to do that.
Dukakis says he and the Philippou family are longtime friends. Robel Philippou is charged with lying to the FBI. This after prosecutors say he helped remove Zarnev's belongings from a dorm room hours after the bombing. Florida Governor Rick Scott is explaining today why he refused to take the stage in last night's debate.
Charlie was throwing a fit. He went into, he was saying he wasn't going to show up, so we waited to see if he was going to show up.
Scott is trying to fan the flames today as he tries to reach out to, well, his fan base. And finally, Apple unveils a series of new gadgets and the next generation of its operating system. CEO Tim Cook introduced a new iPad Air 2 at Apple headquarters today. The 6.1-millimeter iPad is the thinnest tablet on the market and has an anti-reflective coating, which is also a first of its kind. I'm sure everyone's going to grab it. Stay tuned for another Newsmax Now update. Always stay connected with Newsmax.com.